Hi, Wyatt. Well, we're off on chapter 2 of Navigating Early. The next day was filled with boys, boxes, and bulletin boards, suitcases, books, and pillows. And everywhere there were moms giving bosomy hugs and tear-filled kisses. I spent most of the day in the library, wandering from shelf to shelf, breathing in the familiar smell of books and wood polish and India ink. It felt good to be closed in among the stacks, which didn't pitch and sway. They were solid and stable. Maybe that's how cows feel when they come into the barn after a day in the open field. The librarian introduced herself in a quiet, librarianly manner, saying her name was Miss B. She smiled and said it was short for bookworm. I didn't say much, so she gave me a quick tour of the library, showing me the fiction section and resource books, and she got particularly excited at the poetry collection. When I didn't seem to match her level of enthusiasm for Longfellow and Hopkins, she just smiled, encouraged me to have a look around, and returned to her card catalog. I wandered around the stacks until I found the National Geographic magazine. Standing in front of those bright yellow spines, all lined up in numerical order, it felt, for a moment, like I had a place, a tiny spot where I belonged. Then the door was flung open and two boys poked their heads in. Glancing around, they apparently didn't find who or what they were looking for, and left. There had been no opportunity for introductions, but even if there had, I wasn't sure what I would have said. Hi, my name is Jack. I'm from Kansas, and I wish I was still there. Still, it would have been nice to have had a nice couple of names to put to those faces. There was a large trophy case on the far wall of the library. Maybe some of those boys' pictures will be in there, I thought. The case was full of trophies and plaques from years at Morton Hill Academy victories: basketball, football, track, and field. Mixed in were pictures of young men in their team uniforms, smiling with the joy of winning and standing with arms over each other's shoulders in a show of camaraderie. I studied the faces, ripe, ruddy, youthful, as if they were faces from history. That was pretty much what they were, as the dates stretched all the way back to the late 1800s. As I walked the length of the trophy case, the faces spanned the years, one blurring into the next. Then one stood out. An older boy stood in a picture all his own. His hair was slicked back, and he had a strong, handsome face. Written at the bottom in white ink were the words, Morton Hill All-Team Captain, Rowing and Football, Class of 1943. The picture rested against a jersey with the player's name and number on the back. Fish, 67. But it wasn't the jersey or the trophy that held my attention. It was the face, his smile. He smiled as if he held life in that championship cup, and he could drink from it whenever he liked. He smiled as if that victorious moment would last forever. Then I noticed my own reflection in the glass. My face was different, not just because it was younger, not just because I wasn't smiling, but because the past summer had taught me a lesson that, from the looks of it, the all-team captain had yet to learn. Life can't be held in a cup, and nothing lasts forever. Suddenly, I felt sorry for number 67 and all he didn't know. Monday morning came like a cool Kansas rain shower on a hot, humid day. In other words, it was a relief, because now at least I had a schedule. I knew that history came first, followed by Latin, English, and math. Science and phys ed were held in the afternoon. I figured if I knew what was coming, maybe I'd get my bearings. That was what I needed, bearings. At home, you could walk outside and see for miles in every direction. You could always figure where you were based on which church steeple or windmill or silo rose like a beacon out of the horizon. They were landmarks that served to keep a person rooted, grounded. But then it struck me. To have landmarks, you have to have land. And the salt air filling my lungs reminded me that most of what surrounded me in this place was water. Constantly moving, changing water. I started feeling queasy again. The history teacher was a short man with stubby fingers who seemed very excited about a bunch of Greeks who all must have been from the same family. Oedipus, Perseus, Theseus. His name was Professor Donaldson. He called roll, and every kid said, "Here," except for one, Early Auden. Latin, Mr. Hildebrandt, same roll call, same kid absent, Early Auden. All the way until math. Then who showed up? Early Auden. And I recognized him. It was the kid from the beach, the boy with the sandbags. He was a little fella, about 4 foot something. His feet dangled just above the floor when he sat at his desk. "Good morning, gentlemen." The math teacher greeted us as he set down his mug of steaming coffee. "My name is Professor Eric Blaine," he said as he began writing on the chalkboard. "Well, as many of you know, this is my first year here at Morton Hill, and I'm looking forward to getting acquainted with each and every one of you." He turned to face us, and we all stared at what he had written on the board. The Holy Grail. Well, we all knew from the legend of King Arthur about Sir Galahad and his search for the Holy Grail, that sacred, mysterious, and oh so elusive chalice used at the Last Supper. For centuries it had been revered as a miraculous vessel and had been sought after by kings and princes, humanitarians and tyrants. There is supposedly a brotherhood of guardians to keep it safe. Or, might we say, keep it mysterious from being evaluated in the light of modern-day knowledge and skepticism. Mr. Blaine sat on the desk in the front of the room. "We're not here to discuss the authenticity of the Grail, but rather the nature and merits of a quest. Why does one embark upon a quest?" Mr. Blaine looked down at his seating chart and glanced around the room. "Sam Feeney?" A pudgy kid sitting next to me squinted an eye. To find buried treasure, matey." The other boys laughed. "Spoken like a true pirate," said Mr. Blaine. "But yes, to search for something. It could be treasure. However, it can also be a search for something less tangible. Ever hear of the quest for happiness or a quest for justice?" "Buried treasure sounds a little more exciting," said Sam. "Maybe, but what about a quest for the truth? Perhaps that was really Sir Galahad's goal, to demystify the miraculous. What if he was looking for the Grail, that miraculous vessel, to show that it was just a cup?" Okay, it's 10 minutes. Bye, guy, and I have to stop. I don't want to stop. I want to keep reading, but I have to stop so we can see if we can send this. Okay. I will try. All right, love you. Okay, go back, come on. Uh-oh. Bleh.